All right, I think everybody's here. Let's get started. First of all, I want to thank you guys for allowing us to be here today. Wanted to show appreciation. Definitely want we appreciate the time, and also we are your partners in your title insurance. So if any questions, please reach out and let us know. Laura Lynn is here. She is our social media trainer and expert. And in a few minutes, we will start to discuss the merge between traditional farming and social media. We will discuss strategies, techniques, and ultimately how to get started. So without further delay, Laura Lynn, please take the screen.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here today. Super excited to introduce social farming to you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And then if everyone could just possibly give me like a thumbs up reaction if you guys can see it, that'd be great. Awesome. Okay. So I just want to ask for you guys, just based on these two words, social and farming, does anyone want to take a stab at what that could even mean? And feel free to jump in at any time. Does anyone want to take a guess? Louise?
I was thinking the people you already know, maybe, I don't know, social. I mean, could be, your friends, or maybe the people, because I teach yoga, maybe the people I, do yoga with, or something like that. I don't know.
Right, so you're thinking socially, like farming the people, the connections that you have already. Great guess. Thank you for participating. Anyone else want to offer one more idea, maybe in the chat, or you can unmute yourself?
Social media targeted to your farms.
Okay. So using social media to target the farms that you have established. All righty. Thank you. Was that Mari? Thanks for participating.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think we're actually waiting for a few more people to hop on, but before I jump into the presentation as a whole, this is there's a lot in here. So I know that there will probably be some questions that come up. And so I just want us to save those questions towards the end, because as I move forward in the presentation, I actually might answer some of those questions that you have. So if you want to take a second to also get your note-taking materials, whether that's on your laptop or pen and notepad, I'll go ahead and give you a second. And then once you're all set with that, we can move forward with the class, and just give me a reaction, the thumbs up reaction again, so I know who's ready. Okay, Luis is ready. Yeah, so this is a class, so you guys will want to be jotting down the things that you hear. There's a lot of value in here. And I'll just talk about a little bit about my background at the company. So I work very closely with Ben. He's amazing. I've been with Clearmark Title for the past 2 years now. Started out on the open order desk, did some rep work. I also do a lot of direct support work with our Clearmark Title reps. And I also work very closely with the CEO of our company, John Macias. So I do a lot of things at the company, but I'm here as direct support to you guys as well. My official position is Director of KPI, which means Key Performance Indicators, but I do so much more beyond that. And all right, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So I just have to say this, please, no pictures of the slides. Like I suggested before, please get your note-taking materials ready so then you can write down everything. However, I'm kind of blocking, I'll move myself. However, you can take a picture of this slide. So this is our contact information, your Clearmark Title rep, then Dan, there's his phone number and email, my information as well, and as well as our customer service email. If you have any questions or need any, farming property profiles, things like that. So I'll just give you a second to get that information. Okay, next slide. So for those of you who guessed what social farming is, thank you so much for offering your ideas and suggestions, but this is the official definition of social farming. So it's where traditional title farming information intersects with social media channels to obtain the most comprehensive real estate data. So what that means is that we're taking the information that you would get from Title Toolbox, all that original information that we get already, and then also linking it with information that we pull and mine from social media channels. So kind of like, you know, your typical Instagram stalking, Facebook stalking, but doing it with a very specific group of people so that you're equipping yourself with more information as you move along in your business. So a little background on social farming. That term was coined by our CEO, John Macias, in 2021. So of course, with all of the repercussions of the pandemic back in 2020, that really accelerated our reliance on technology to stay connected with one another, you know, just socially, even in our personal lives. I remember being on Zoom back in the thick of it, you know, Zoom parties with my friends, drinking some White Claw in my room. And that was definitely such a peculiar time to be a part of. And I'm sure everyone else has kind of similar stories as to how they tried to stay connected with their friends and loved ones. And so, yeah, that affected us in our personal lives. But then also, like, as you can see here, we're still on Zoom, whereas we could possibly have, you know, this presentation in person, but a lot of people still have moved to all of their meetings like digitally. So staying connected via social media and other avenues on technology is definitely here to stay, and it's not going to go anywhere. So that's a little background on social farming. Now, if you direct your attention to the right side of the screen, we have our simple 4-step system. So everything we do at Clearmark Title is very well thought out and methodical, and we wanted to create this 4-step system for you guys for social farming to keep it simple so you guys can remember it. So the first step is objective. The second step of social farming is to have a strategy, so a plan that brings you from point A to B. The next step is schedule. So make sure that you have, you know, set days on your calendar as to when you're going to utilize social media and also when you're going to engage with people on social media. And the last step is mechanics, which just means understanding or having a good understanding of the mechanics of the different social media platforms. So we have, you know, Facebook, Instagram, there's LinkedIn, YouTube. So just understanding how those different platforms work so you can decide whether or not you even want to use them for your business. So that's our 4-step system. And so today I'm going to be just focusing on the first 3, objective, strategy, and schedule. And we actually have a second class where we break down Facebook and Instagram, the mechanics of those. So remember, guys, this is just an introduction class. There's still a lot in here, but I do not cover the mechanics. So stay tuned for that. So before I hop into social farming as a whole, the whole foundation and basis of social farming is still traditional farming. So the 3 most basic steps to traditional farming is 1, first planting the seed by identifying a geographic area. So being very specific where you're going to do your business. The second step is to nurture those seeds through regular communication and community involvement. So actually physically going to, you know, that farm, really communicating with the members in that community and just building a really trustworthy relationship. And lastly, through all of your hard work and all of that time, hopefully you'll be able to harvest the sales in your farm, as well as getting like a better understanding of all the real estate activity that's happening there, not just, you know, what business you're conducting as well. So those are just like 3 most basic steps to farming. And of course, before you even start farming, you have to identify your farm. So does anyone want to drop in the chat where their farm is, if they'd like to share, if they already have one? Or you could say it out loud too. Okay, so we have a zip code. Thank you, Star.
Hi.
Sherman Oaks, hey. Sherman Oaks. I'm sure we all have our own reasons for, choosing those farms, right? Okay, Tracy, if you don't have a farm, we can get you set up on Title Toolbox, and we'd love to sit down with you, over a Zoom and help you brainstorm and, talk about your different options, like for how you would even choose a farm. So we'll get you set up on Title Toolbox. You can definitely email those emails that I put up on that one slide, and we're definitely here to help you out. Okay, so we have a few people who don't have their farms yet, which is totally okay because we're here to help. So definitely we have people on different ends of the spectrum here.
Can I ask you a quick question about the farm?
Sure.
Does it have to be a physical farm? I specifically don't have a farm because I work all over the place. And that's why I was wondering if this could be a farm, like farming specifics within social media that are all over the place. So that's why I wrote that, because I mean, I've been doing this a long time. However, there's no specific area because it would just, I mean, it's physically impossible for me, really.
That's a great question. So yeah, we'll go into this with the social farming part, where you might be a little bit more sporadic in terms of like where your clients are located. Because of course, if you're connecting with people via social media, they may not all be like, for example, in Newport or Costa Mesa, or they may not all be located in Encino or Sherman Oaks. They might be spread out. So I'll go into, when we're talking about traditional farming, yes, we are kind of specifically talking about a geographic area or maybe a particular type of real estate within an area. But with social farming, you do have a little bit more liberty to be more spread out. But yeah, when I'm in this instance right now, I am just talking about like, maybe a particular zip code or neighborhood. Does that answer your question, Tracy?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I was just wondering if it could be, because clearly you're friends with people all over the place on social media. So that's fine.
Yeah, of course. Great question though. So yeah, guys, in this instance, we are talking about like a particular area. And so if you do need help, my face is kind of covering there. If you do need help figuring out a particular area that, would be just best fit for you, we can help you with market research, property research, and inventory research. So we have an amazing customer service team who's highly skilled in helping you retrieve this specific data. So, obviously, if you're just starting out, we just suggest to, pick a place that you can frequent often physically, just to get you started. So some people like to even farm their own neighborhoods, or maybe an area that they grew up in, or somewhere that's just down the freeway about 5 minutes, because, as you are farming, you are going to want to physically frequent that area as much as you can, just so you can build that sort of brand awareness and establish yourself as an authority in that area. And then we can also help you with property research. So we suggest starting with 250 to 500 homes just to start, just so you know kind of what type and what kind of amount of work, servicing that amount of properties would take you, all the way down to your budget of like, if you're going to send out, print materials, if you're going to door knock, how long is it going to take you to door knock the total of 200 to 500 homes, just so you can get a feel for, what you're able to take on as you're starting. And then with the inventory research, we can help you with things such as turnover rate, different statistics for, how many next sellers, empty nesters, and absentee owners there are within that neighborhood, just to see, who would be more inclined to list within that neighborhood. So that there's a myriad of different things that our customer service and Title Toolbox team can help you with. And that's with specifically geographic farming. So now that we've talked about the foundations of social farming, which was just traditional farming, let's hop on over to social farming. So I want to create a bunch of parallels between, the old and the new. So the old, quote unquote, old, or just with the new, it would be, social farming. So first, you want to create your personal brand profile. So just as you would establish yourself as an authority in your traditional farm, you want to establish yourself online as well by having profiles and accounts made. Next, to nurture those relationships that you've made in your farm online, you also want to connect in meaningful ways. So you want to make sure that you're engaging with people and just, being present, liking, commenting, DMing people. And with all of that activity that you have, lastly, just as you want to collect all of that data from your activity in your traditional farm, you want to make sure that you're collecting and tracking that data while you're social farming online. So what happens offline and what happens online? Again, here are some parallels. So let's think about door knocking. If you're actually physically in your farm, you're going door to door, knocking on people's doors, having conversations with people in the neighborhood. So you can actually do the same exact thing if you were to be on your phone. So I consider a door knock or a digital door knock as anything that sends a notification to someone where your name pops up. So it could be something as simple as a like on someone's Instagram post. It could be something as leaving a comment on someone's Facebook post. It could be something like reacting to their story on Instagram. If they post something about something they're eating and they're going to one of your favorite restaurants, just replying and really trying to engage with them. Or even a DM, which I think would be the most direct type of way of digitally door knocking someone. But every time your name pops up on someone's phone, you're immediately planting a seed in their head. It's really subtle and it may not seem like a lot by just having one like, but if you're consistent and able to touch those people digitally in that way, people are going to be used to your consistency. And just as you would walk your farm, physically in your farm, you can also walk different accounts and certain hashtags and geotag locations online as well. So in that way, you're getting a good feel for the types of people that are online. So, and this is all to collect information, right? We door knock and we walk our farms to collect information. So we're walking our farm digitally online by searching different accounts, following relevant accounts, looking at different hashtags. We actually have one client who built her business entirely on Instagram. She didn't have any business initially, but what she would do is explore different hashtags like Rancho Cucamonga real estate. She did all of her business out in the Inland Empire. And so she would just look at different hashtags, like and engage with the accounts that were posting with that hashtag. She was also looking at different businesses within her farm and what accounts they had, and looking at who posted at that location as well. So she got a feel for the different types of people that were going and actually living in her farm and just getting all this information and data. So that's a great way for her to establish herself. And, she actually closed 27 transactions within her first year of real estate by doing that. And now she's trying to actually insert herself into the Pasadena and Altadena market, moving away from the Inland Empire. And she's doing the same exact thing now. She's exploring Pasadena real estate, Altadena real estate, those hashtags, and just getting a feel for the types of people that are there. And lastly, I don't have it written here, but let's think about different, profiles such as Instagram and Facebook as a gold mine for information. So if you think about how we typically, when we pull, information from Title Toolbox, it would really just be, first name, last name, property address, some property information with like number of bathrooms, bedrooms, and square footage, and then phone numbers and emails, right? But that gives us essentially no information about who's living there. If we were to then go to a Facebook account or an Instagram account or go to Google and just do a quick search on these people, we're actually able to find a lot more information and add that information to the CSV file that we just, extracted from Title Toolbox. So think about those accounts almost as like really loaded phone books in a way. It's just more and more information for you to equip yourself. So let's move on to the first step of social farming. The first step of social farming is identifying your objective. So the objective we have split into actually 3 different parts. So you guys are going to want to write down the 3 different parts of objective for social farming. The first part is to create brand awareness. So make sure that you're creating brand awareness for social farming. The second step is to use social farming as a lead gen tool. So make sure that you're looking at social farming as a tool for you guys. The objective of social farming is not to become Insta famous or some sort of, person with thousands and thousands and thousands of followers. That's great, but just remember that follower count is not a measurement of your success here. Ultimately, your objective is to create brand awareness, use it as a lead gen tool, and the last part is to cultivate relationships. So you're going to be doing a lot of activity on social media while you're social farming, and it can be really easy to kind of, go off the deep end, sometimes get distracted on social media, kind of go into a deep rabbit hole on things that are completely irrelevant to your business. I completely recognize that. So I would say that having your objective top of mind all the time with each click you take is super important to keep you really in check and in line with each action that you're putting out there. So start simple with social farming. Make sure that you are trying to connect with people on there. That is, one of the parts of the objective is to cultivate relationships. And we suggest to connect with 5 new people a week via social media. And what that means is, it could be a DM, it could be, maybe you're prepping and priming someone to shoot them a DM by liking and commenting on their posts first, and then, sending them a direct message. And if you think about it, 5 new people a week is just 1 new person Monday through Friday. It's really not that much, but it's a great place for you to get started. And where to start? So we suggest to start social farming on either Facebook or Instagram. How many of you guys are on Facebook? If you could just give me a thumbs up. Okay. Nice. All right. Oh yeah, we got a lot of people here. And then how about on Instagram? How about someone give me the confetti reaction if you guys are on Instagram. Quite a few of us. Awesome. Okay, we have someone with both. Yeah, I mean, most likely, most of us are going to be on both anyway, just because this is statistically over half of US adults are on both Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, this is where we suggest to start. We just find that these are the best platforms to start with, consumers to prospect, to get information from people. So Facebook and Instagram, and if you guys have any questions on, how to utilize those, our session 2, we break down the mechanics of Facebook and Instagram. And so once you've chosen the platform that you want to get started on, of course, you want to create your profile. And your profile is your chance to really show, consumers or potential clients who you are. If I always use the example, like if one of your clients were to pull up either of your profiles and show it to one of their friends, would you be pleased with what you have out there? Does your profile really emulate who you are in person? If someone were looking at your profile and then were to meet you in person, are they going to be surprised, or are you going to be exactly who they expected? So just kind of think about that as you're building out your profile. Really let your personality shine through. Super important. You don't want to be, like a real estate robot. And of course, with social media, no matter where you land on the spectrum of being comfortable or uncomfortable with using social media, it can get overwhelming no matter who you are. So like I said before, remember your objective. If your actions online do not have to do with cultivating relationships, building brand awareness, or using social media as a lead gen tool, then you're not going to be really aligned with your objective, and you're going to get really distracted. So just make sure that you're really aligned with, the platform that you're choosing to utilize. Think about, if the platform you can choose is best suited for your target audience or the type of people that you want to do business with. and just keep your objective in mind. So the next step is to have a strategy put in place. So a strategy, just to let you guys know, it's not equivalent to a schedule. A strategy is a plan that takes you from point A to B, and part of your social farming strategy does have to include that you have an intimate knowledge of who is even in your database. So it's super important to know who you know, right? Make sure that you're tracking people with, whatever sort of CRM that you choose. And a CRM is a customer relationship management platform, and that could be as sophisticated as an Excel document, or it could be as simple as an Excel document, or as sophisticated as, say, Command, which you guys have, or it could be, another sort of CRM platform that is catered to real estate agents. So a big part of the strategy is just knowing who your database is made of, and also being very specific with the types of people that you want to connect with on social media. So just as you would focus on a particular area in traditional farming, you also want to focus on a particular group of people when you're social farming. So, the main difference with traditional farming is a geographic area. That's who your target audience is. That's who you're targeting. It's based on like a geographic area. Whereas with social farming, you're thinking socially, like who do you already know? Who can you connect with on social media? So you're really thinking about the characteristics of people rather than real estate characteristics. So this is just a big part of strategy, is knowing who your database is made up of. And then once you know, who your database is made up of, you're going to be a lot more strategic in how you're marketing, what types of pieces you're putting out there, and you're able to really cater to a particular audience rather than just being kind of like all over the place. And here we have just a basic foundation of, for social media, for posting, where to get started. This is not a one size fits all. And I want you guys to remember that these are just suggestions and tips. If you feel like you can't commit to, say 2 to 3 photos a week, and you're like, I really can only do one, I feel like that's what I can do best, then just start with one. The biggest thing is to have consistency. So whatever you think that you can do consistently, start with that and then add on. So just start simple. But so on the right-hand side, we say to start with 2 to 3 photos a week. So what that means is those are going to be the posts that stay on your profile. So those are going to be like when I pull up my Instagram profile, what stays there forever. If I pull up my Facebook profile, what is actually on like my personal feed. So that's what's going to stay there unless you delete it. And then with 3 to 5 stories or timely updates every other day, stories are going to be the really quick posts that stay up for only about 24 hours on your profile. However, you do have the option to do what's called a highlight on your Instagram, where it actually sticks on your profile. But the stories, they don't have to be as curated as maybe your posts that stay on your profile would have to be. Stories are your opportunity to be very in the moment, to show people what your day-to-day life is, and that's where you can just really be yourself and not as calculated. Next, we suggest to do 1 to 2 videos or reels per week. So a video could be educational, informative, it could be entertaining or inspiring. It's really important for you to get behind the camera. And just so everyone is aware, if you don't know, reels are Instagram videos that are created with a little bit more like editing functionality on there. It's specific to Instagram itself. You can add a layer on different audio, you can add in music, filters, just different types of editing there. So that's fine. That's an option that you have on Instagram. But with the videos, it's super important that you guys are getting comfortable behind the camera. With my research, I found out that 82% of consumer purchases are based on video. So that's a really high percentage. People are getting really, influenced by having video in front of them. And that's your chance to actually be in front of someone and show someone how you present yourself. It really sets you apart. Next, we suggest to do one live virtual event per month. So what that is, like an Instagram or Facebook Live. And that's your chance to, again, be really authentic and transparent and in the moment to whoever logs in. And do not get deterred if, even just 5 people log in or view your live. That means that's 5 different people that you hit all at once, versus having to take the time to cold call maybe 5 different people. It just gives you an opportunity to be in front of multiple people all at once, and that's the beauty of going live. Some ideas for going live could be if you're going to go door knocking, being actually in your physical farm saying, hey guys, it's Laurelyn. I am in Costa Mesa. I'm in the Mesa Verde neighborhood. I'm going to go door knock 30 homes. How long do you guys think it's going to take me? Something simple, light and fun. It doesn't have to be super elaborate. Or maybe you could go to a neighborhood where there's a lot of construction. You can just start talking about how hey guys, just letting you know, there's a lot of construction going on in this neighborhood. Can't wait to show you guys what happens next, or can't wait to show you what it looks like when it's finished. Or even going to shopping centers that are under construction, seeing what people have to say, what do they think is going to be built there, what would they like to see in the farm, but then also showing people that you have a good awareness of what's going on in that neighborhood. So that's just a few live ideas. And lastly, with all this activity that you're doing, make sure that you're tracking your insights and using your CRM. And to define what an insight is, those are going to be like the analytics that are available to you via Instagram. If you have a business or creator account on there, if you guys have questions on how to get that set up, let me know. I do have a video on that I could show you. But the insights are going to break down your follower demographic, which is super cool. So you'll see the split percentage of how many of your followers are male or female, what their age range is, where they're even located. So, your followers could be in LA, or they could be in Orange County, San Diego, or literally anywhere. And then it also shows you, this is my favorite part, it shows you where or when your followers are most active and what days of the week too. So for me personally, my followers are most active from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Once it hits 9, it kind of drops off because people are going to bed, and everyone's followers are going to be active at different times, just depending on, what they do for a living, or, what life stage they're in. Everyone, for the most part, for me, they're at work by 8 to 9 a.m. But then the activity starts going up just because, either people went to lunch and they're slagging off from work later in the afternoon. But yeah, it's just super important to make sure that you're tracking your insights and putting all of that information into a CRM. So make sure, whatever sort of conversations you're having with people in the DMs, making a profile for a particular person, jotting down, what your conversation entailed, maybe little drops and hints that they're saying oh, this is a life stage I'm in, or this is what, this is what I plan on doing, or I think I'm going to get a new job, little things like that. And lastly, we're going to touch on the schedule. So just like with anything in life, success does not happen without consistency. Make sure that you're using a calendar for when you're going to post, and also when you're going to engage with people. And what engage means is, when are you going to time block, when you're going to DM people, when you're going to, comment on their posts. So just as you would time block for cold calling or prospecting from 8 to 10 p.m. in the morning, treat, engaging with people on social media like you would that. So make sure, it could be 30 minutes a day where you're just okay, I'm going to go through my inbox, make sure I'm going through my messages, making sure I'm responding to everyone who messaged me. Or it could be an hour where you're okay, I have this list of people that I want to make sure that I'm liking their posts, commenting, just going through your list and checking them off. So anything like that. Next, we suggest to give thoughtful replies and comment back in a timely manner. This is your engagement. So, what use is it if you have your face everywhere, but really you're still not communicating with people, right? And communication needs to be a two-way street. You need to make sure that you're very active. And lastly, learn about batching content. And what batching content means is that pretty much once or twice a month, you're going to do your video, take your photos, and plan out the rest of the month or the next 2 weeks. And you're doing that all at once. So, it might take you about 4 hours, but within those 4 hours, you're arming yourself with a bunch of different photos and video that you can post in the future. So that way you're not scrambling every other day, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to post today. I have nothing. Like, I've been wearing my pajamas all week. I've been working from home. So essentially, you're just setting yourself up for success by batching your content. And so, guys, this is the last slide, but I just want to reiterate, our 4-step system. It's objective, strategy, schedule, and mechanics. And today I covered objective, strategy, and schedule. And the next session, it goes over the mechanics of Facebook and Instagram. But now we're ready for questions. I know I had some people raise their hands we had some people raise their hands and send some questions in the chat. And now I'm ready to open it up. So go ahead, ask away.
Did you have a question, Tracy?
I was on my back end looking at the analytics when she said that, and I can't really, I mean, this must be a mechanics thing, so maybe next class, but I was trying to see what you were talking about with the time of day that people respond. I wasn't able to see that. And you also were saying to create a CRM with these people. I mean, some of these people, I have no clue who they are. You know what I mean? Like their name is something completely whack, like it's not a person. You know what I mean? So just, I guess you're going to cover that next time. So
yeah, so I can go ahead and cover that now. So if you actually go, I'll address the first question about Instagram, like how to find the time of day. So if you go to your profile on your Instagram page, I don't know, yeah,
I'm on the professional dashboard. I'm in the account insights. I just,
okay. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. Okay, so once you're on your profile, and then you press insights there, then if you go to where it says insights overview, if you go to total followers and click that third option, you can scroll all the way down and it'll show you the time of day. And it looks like this.
Okay.
The graph here. Do you see it?
No, because when I'm in insights, account insights, then you do see all, right? Or do you go tools? I'm on account. Oh, here, I'll put it on. Here, let me. All right, no judgment on this because I look like crap. But, okay.
All good. No judgment.
No. Hold on. Let me get rid of my background. Well, I'll just explain it.
Okay.
It says account insights, and it says, the accounts in 30 days, and it has like a graph of the days, but it doesn't have the time of day.
Yeah, so I think you scrolled. So you have to go to, I'll actually, we can connect after, and I'm more than happy to give you a step-by-step, but yeah, I think you have my information. I put that in the, I'll put my information in the chat box, but yeah. And then your second question was, there were a lot of people who you don't even know on social media, right? So that's a good point. So something I want to talk about with social farming is that it's super important to have a target list. That's a big part of social farming. So just as you would farm a particular geographic area, right? You're defining a specific area that you want to focus on. When you're social farming, you want to have a specific target list of people that you know or are connected with somehow via mutual friends. So you have let's say a set list of 30 people where you're thinking like, okay, I've done my homework, I've looked them up on social media. They could be, good candidates for me to focus on for the next year to possibly get some business from. So yeah, when we're using social farming, we're not saying all of your followers are going to be your customers. What we're saying with social farming is that it's important to be very specific of having a set list of people already that you're trying to market towards, you're trying to build relationships with, you're trying to lead gen with. So that's like the biggest point of social farming, or one of the biggest things with social farming is being specific with who you're targeting. Does that clarify it? Yeah, okay. Any other questions? There's a lot in here. I'm sure there's a lot of questions about social media in general.
Well, absolutely. There'll be some questions, and of course, you guys know that you can always reach out to me as well, and I'll connect you with Laura Lynn or answer the questions as best as I can. So again, this is the first part of the second part of a two-part series, and I will get on this calendar ASAP so we can discuss the second part of this talk. Any other questions for us, you guys? All right. Well, again, thanks again for allowing us to be here. We really appreciate your time, and look forward to the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. We'll see you next time for session 2.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thanks, Laura Lynn.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.